Okay, so just going to do a bit of testing, seeing what's happening here. Hopefully the microphone's on. So, new trading day. How do we go about this? Right, so I come onto the chart. Yesterday I stopped trading around, let's say, 9 o'clock, which was about here. So this is, yeah, further of the European session, and then 1:30, you can tell exactly when the US session opens, which is great. I love that. I can see it now. We get down to 1 minute. Yeah, we just kind of see what happened overnight since we left. So I had this level marked yesterday once again as one of my setups. Price trying to push lower, once, twice, three times, fails, reverses, comes back to its previous swing high, breaks that previous swing high, and then breaks the previous swing high to that. So making me believe, price has flipped from short to long. Price goes up, it's kind of dry. I guess you could say it failed to swing above here. There's a bit of yipper yapper with the boys on the swing failure pattern, because I'm trying to say that this is, anyways, doesn't matter. It's just very funny. Light-hearted banter as well. Good lads. So yeah, just saw this. I've called this setup ahead of time, just to show my system, what I'm trying to trade, what I'm looking for. Um, and a great way to explain it actually is if we use this over here. So as price comes back to swing down, it hits the pocket of liquidity in here. Maybe it didn't hit perfectly, so I probably wouldn't have got filled. But price responded quite well. I mean, well, that's 100, so I usually go for like 150. And thanks to Mr. No, I've been keeping the stops real small, so thank you for that, mate. Really appreciate it. So here is basically another good setup. Price comes in, I'm trying to see if buyers want to start stepping in around here. The way I look at this is aggressive shorting is coming in to this level. So people shorting from here, here, and here will now be looking to hopefully break the lows and possibly aim lower. So price comes up, collects again in here. They try to drive it down again. It fails. Price comes up, tries to break its previous swing high, comes down again. And I notice this a lot because this happens here as well. Sorry. And it happens quite a few times actually. It's very common. Happens here as well, like these double bottoms, as Neil mentioned, are quite strong. Here didn't happen per se, but here we see it again, tries to drive it lower, fails, flips, goes the other way. You know how it goes. So here, this would have been an ideal setup for me, really. Price comes down, and the way I see this is just trapping, shorters. And then here is when they start to get, think, oh, okay, cool, it's going to break. Price reverses, comes up to here, comes down, collects back into here, which would have been possibly a level I would have traded. Because the idea of this is like same with here. This is probably a much cleaner, better example. So as price is trying to aggressively short, you can say it's seeking liquidity, trying to pick it up. Sorry, I'm very tired. Trying to pick it up, and then price immediately hits liquidity and turns it around, pressuring all these fellas. So, I mean, even if you were to short here, and your stop is something like this, which Noah was talking to me about, we can even like make a case, because Noel did mention the market does look for max pain, and the way that I looked at this and thought about it would have just been something very similar to that max pain theory. So price comes down, comes back up to its previous swing high, which is usually a good indicator for me. I prefer if it breaks, but you can sometimes play on the retrace for price to break. It's just sometimes you get caught out because, I mean, if we were to use this example here, it's the same thing. It comes to pick up, same idea, trapping the shorters, trying to go high. It comes to the previous high. So there's two places I would have liked to long. It would have been here to try and break the high, or it would have probably been down in here somewhere, which would have stopped me out. Tight stop down in here. Um, as sometimes it just happens. It's really hard to tell at the moment which ones are really good and which ones are not. Obviously not this one because it doesn't come up to even near the same high. Price didn't even come low at all, so it was like a moderately trapping shorters. Just how I see it, this you could look at a volume profile and probably say that this is people kind of like letting go of a position. Who knows? So yeah, just coming back to this. So this is a very dramatic case of trying to trap traders from what I see it. Price picks up, reverses, then comes higher. So in this total setup, I would be looking for like an entry usually midway, or if I can, it'll probably have to be much lower down or a lot deeper. But yeah, once again, just perfect response, like beautiful, and it just does the same thing over and over. It does it over here. Um, a good example again of why sometimes I don't do it in the middle. So if it's something like this, like a clean run, um, and the shelf has moved instead of the middle a bit higher up, that could be a trade. Not for me though. That's too high up. You could also make a good case that the invalidation could be somewhere there. Maybe you try and target the same highs. What are we looking at here? 150.44. Yeah, so it's doable. It's more than doable, or even these highs. Doable for a response, just not my cup of tea because it's already pretty high up. So prices already tried here. It's tried here, and like when we're looking at price, hopefully I've got it on here, blacked out. Yeah, so if we're looking at price like this, what I see at the time is like a massive open gap here and open gap down here. This is support in here, um, but yeah, I just to me there's not. I know we've broken above here. Prices come down, picked up, and moved above. But I would rather prefer to have my entry down here somewhere where it's a bit more manageable. So maybe something like this with a very tight stop. We'll go for 50, and then we'll aim for a 150 and see if it works here. Because yeah, you just don't know what price is going to do. It could start to accelerate to trap the sellers or come and pick up again. The prices slow down quite a bit there. So yeah, as price moves along, gets its response, tries higher, kind of fails. Price is starting to move down, comes down, hits. Ooh, just didn't get stopped out. So could have probably tried to adjust an entry here. But nonetheless, yeah, we get the response, get the trade. Just to be honest, probably would have got stopped out there, to be honest. So we'd probably have to make an entry lower down. I usually try and aim for the doji. I have a habit of, for some reason, wanting to trade this point of the start of this point of release, where price really starts to move away, which is a pretty bad habit of mine. I need to change that. Um, but yeah, for me, it's all just about seeing what do the buyers and sellers want to do because yeah, who knows what the fuck is going to happen on the right side of the chart? I don't. You don't. We can only predict, and sometimes our predictions can be wrong. So it's just better to read the tape, as they say. Oh, it's that Italian guy, man. He's got a lot of knowledge, eh? Um, So yeah, just something like that. But definitely, next level here, it'll be a small risk kind of position. But it's just all about reading what price wants to do, and being patient because I've been caught out so many times just trying to jump in early, to catch the move because I'm worried I'm going to miss it because there's nothing worse than getting front run, let's be honest. It's pretty annoying. Or then getting stopped out, and then it's like, oh, fuck, I was right, but stop was too tight. But yeah. So yeah, we just see what price wants to do. So we see, buyers are trying to hold here. They're trying to push higher up into here. Not necessarily an area I would buy in here, obviously because I probably know what's going to happen next. Um, we failed to push above here, even if this was a trap, so this keeps me away from, I guess, trying to trade these areas. Rather just go for the next level. This level is also really good because it was a weekly open. I believe that was yesterday's. Yeah, so that is the weekly open. So price is pretty unsure what it wanted to do around this weekly open. The fact, you could say, oh yeah, price came in here to test the weekly open, whatever. Um, make your case. Doesn't really matter. Um, but moving on to today, just to see what price wants to do. So here's our daily open. So this is when the Sydney Stock Exchange opens. Price has now tried to go higher. It's dipped down, come back up, tried to push higher. The reason why I didn't take this trade is because this is just once again in the middle. It's in a really awkward place. So, if I wanted to see what wanted to happen here, um, I see that price has hit the resistance up in here. So it's obviously now just a big range in here for now. You could even say it's in here. And this is why I say it's just better to watch and see what price wants to do. So um, if we move forward, we come look at the Tokyo Open, and we see Tokyo Open dumped into the daily open. And from this, we want to see what price is trying to do. So are the buyers trying to step in here? Yes, they are. So if I was a buyer here, which maybe in the not so recent past, I would have probably tried to buy this. Um, I would probably aim for something like this, right? Seeing the buying coming in, okay, I'll go long here, put my stop just below here, just to get stopped out for price to reverse and go down. So what I'm looking for at the moment now is because we're selling the daily, we've literally flipped the daily open. There was not really a entry here for me per se. So what I'm going to be looking for at the moment here is I can see price tried to hold near the daily open. So what I'm going to look for at the moment is price to basically do something like this. Get the shorters in and the FOMO shorters, get them in, run price down, reverse it, and then look for an entry on the reversal. Or, just trying to pressure these traders. So if I was to look for an entry on M and Q here, I probably want to see it come and try down here because I do notice that M and Q sometimes uh, how to explain it? It does a lot of what I notice is like you think the levels here, or you think the levels here, and then price will run up, and then it's got usually one more leg down to try and push. The same thing here, so it'll come down, and the price will try and go up, and then usually try to push down again, which um, yeah, does sometimes give a bit of a problem when you try to enter. Same thing here. Yeah, just waiting to see what the sellers want to do. I don't really think there is a level in there, even if we go on. Oh, yeah, the 100 tick will give you something. I'll try to stay away from the 100 tick because I usually get burnt more often than not. Once again, level in here on the 100 tick, right on the weekly open, which is good. So, like, regardless of how small of a time frame you go in, yeah, it shouldn't really matter because I can see everything from the 1 minute and 30 second of kind of what I need to see. It probably would help, but yeah. So now we're getting a reaction off that little shelf that was in there, strong shelf. Um, which one of the boys in the chat, Moody, made me aware of these little strong shelves. And Pena has previously mentioned how strong these little shelves are. But I'm now going to look for price to try and draw up and trap these late and FOMO sellers. Um, if price does not come back up to here, to at least the previous swing high, PSH, um, then it's probably most likely the selling will continue to go lower, which then I'll flip the bias to short and see what's going to happen there. Yeah, so it's just all about waiting and seeing. And like I said, sometimes it'll do this, try to come up and then come back down again, making like a bigger apex. It's like, yeah, it does it all over here. It'll come down, try to respond, then come lower again, and then have its actual response. Which I sometimes do get caught out on, but I am becoming aware of this. And the really good thing that I've come to realize is like with the strategy that I have, um, just to put it in like very very simple, just look for price to do its thing and do something like this, and then trade that, or can trade that in there. It's just depending. Um, it's really cool to see like the strategy is just the entry model, right? It doesn't mean it's going to work every time. Reading what price wants to do has become far more important than I guess trading the strategy. The strategy gives you like the reason to enter, and um, like reading the market gives you uh, I guess the context, or like why you want to enter. And that's made a huge difference from what Nil was explaining to me. And man, that guy said, the stuff that guy said within like the last couple of weeks has really, really, and it's not, he says stuff, but it's not much. But when he does talk, it's gold, and it's really changed a lot with how I'm viewing the market and what I'm looking for and looking to trade my strategy, because it's like you can have a strategy, but it's not static. The market is diverse. Not every setup is going to be exactly the same every single time. The characteristics, yes, remain the same, but it becomes a thing of what I'm doing now is a lot of trial and error, which is for instance, like this swing here. Yeah, I would have traded. Yeah, so the entry, yeah, I'll probably would have tried to enter there. Probably better to go a bit lower. But it just becomes a thing of like, why not trade here? And it just like I have the strategy, I have what I'm looking for, but now it just becomes applying and adapting, and that comes with a lot of failure. And for a while, I've been, struggling with some personal stuff, and failure has just been so hard for me to try and deal with and cope with. But you know, they say like there's I think there's a book that is I haven't read it, but I probably should. Like the biggest loser wins. Um, the most successful guys are the guys that have failed a lot. I watched something yesterday about Michael B. Jordan, and it's like the amount of times that guy has failed, and he could have just made a career out of his highlights. All the highlights. There'll be like a let's say like a 30-minute montage of highlights, but then if you look at all the shots he's missed and plays he's mucked up and failed, and you'll be sitting there for thousands of hours. But yeah, those points where it really mattered, even he screwed up, final, winning baskets, stuff like that. He screwed it up so many times, but it's over time where he fails and learns, and adapts to the pressure, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So it's like yeah, you fail your way to the top. And like I said, with Nil helping me manage my risk, I've actually noticed a dramatic change with the losses I've been taking in my account, which has been actually unbelievable because it's going from like $600 days, two losses, $300 losses, risking 300 to pass the evals, down to like being positive $13 on the day, like moving from a 75 stop to a 30 stop, 20 stop, 40 stop. It's dramatic. It's life changing. Um, just by managing the risk if I was wrong, and it's helped me with my entries. It's helped me to see, notice what I'm missing. Um, yeah, it's really just been great. It sounds simple and easy, but yeah, the yeah, that guy is just he's really helped a lot, and I'm personally trying really hard to try and learn and improve because I'm sick of doing the same shit over and over and over again. In terms of just failing, um, it is a part of it, yes, but I'm just getting tired of kind of taking the piss now, and I see all these other people progressing, and I get kind of envious and jealous, not in a revengeful way, but of just like, that can be me. Why can't that be me, in a sense? So, yeah, back to it. Price has now just come back up. We're gonna see what it wants to do. Um, entry wise, look, this is not bad. We just have to see what Price wants to do here. I'll most likely just wait and probably make a part two. I'm probably not too keen on entering here, because I want to see if they want to try and sell the daily open now, because yesterday was quite interesting as well. I was looking for a level just under the daily open. I thought, okay, cool, they'll sell the daily open, we'll trap them, reverse, and go the other way. Worked perfectly. I'll quickly see if I can find it. Let's see. So there's the weekly open, and then the Tokyo Open. Yeah, so they sell all the way through. Sell comes to the daily. Price did slow down just under the daily and tried to buy. There was a nice level underneath. I said, okay, I'll watch and see what Price wants to do here. I did try to enter here, which led to a loss because I had my stop just below this low. I just got wicked out, but luckily I re-entered. But yeah, here are your trapped sellers. Price starts to reverse, moves out, comes the other way. And as I was mentioning with the entries, like this is high up, but the invalidation for taking this, I went long here because I was anticipating for this to happen. I was just kind of seeing sellers kind of drying up in here, and buyers, trying to come in. You could say I was hoping for buyers to come in. Um, but I just felt confident that, like, knowing the strategy, knowing my pitfalls, all that kind of stuff, that yeah, I'll enter here, put my stop below here. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If price wants to draw back up in here, great, lovely. We'll give that a go. But yeah, this ended up being a really good trade. I managed. I think I got out. I think it was over here. Yeah, over here. I just put my stop here, just because I was thinking, yeah, if price, doesn't want to go to this point of release, which there was a little shelf here, strong shelf, then it's probably going to try and come back as it usually does to pick up and then try again higher. I just don't want to give away so much. Um, Later on, it did end up coming back beautifully into this, had a beautiful response, did the same thing again. Yeah, it comes down, traps the sellers, reverses, comes up to the previous high, pushes above, swings, comes back in, takes it, gets a response, beautiful response, price swings up. The only problem I'm having at the moment, yeah, is being scared to where to enter, because yeah, this is not looking too bad. Where to enter, because for this setup, I would want to enter here ideally. But if we are going to try and push above, then it might just have to change up here. But price has to push like now, because this is not enough space to try and get a reaction. If not, I guess the buy order would be, I have to go down to a 15-second. Because the problem is I always get caught out in the middle of stuff. So this is where, Nil's confirmation, the stop size really comes in to help me determine where to place it. So it's like a kind of uh, self-fulfilling area to show you, where that invalidation could be. I also don't want to take this because it is a bit high up. Because once again, if someone's trying to long here, it gets stopped. So I think this would be a reasonably good area because price comes down on a smaller time frame, probably hits the local swing high here, pushes above, and now we're testing into the daily open. So we'll see if they want to sell the daily open. Hopefully back into here. I might lose this one to be very honest. If I do take it, I'm just not so confident how price is kind of trying to lead up to it. They are trying to sell it and buyers are trying to step in here. But I'll make a part two to this video and I'll just have to be quick. Um, but yeah, catch you soon.